Have you ever opened your banking app and thought, wait, where did my money actually go? You didn't buy a car, you didn't take a vacation, you didn't make some massive life upgrade, and yet somehow your balance is lower than you expected. It wasn't one big mistake, it was the coffee you didn't need, the limited time discount you didn't plan for, the Amazon order that felt small until it wasn't. If you've ever said, I don't even spend that much, while also wondering why you never seem to get ahead, yeah, this video is for you. Because this isn't a discipline problem, and it's not a math problem either. It's a psychology problem. My name is Jake, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychology behind unnecessary purchases. If you're someone who earns money but still feels like it disappears faster than it should, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Look, most people think unnecessary spending happens because they're bad with money. That's not true. Unnecessary spending happens because your brain is exceptionally good at lying to you. And once you understand how those lies work and why they feel so convincing, your entire relationship with money starts to change. Here's the thing. We're taught that purchases are logical decisions. You compare prices, you evaluate value, you decide if something is worth it. But that's not how it actually works. According to research from Harvard Business School, over 90% of purchasing decisions are driven by emotion first and justified with logic afterward, meaning you feel first, you rationalize later. You don't buy something because it's cheap, you buy it because it feels good, and then you explain that feeling using math. And this is where most people completely misunderstand their own behavior. Why small purchases are so dangerous. Let's start with the most common assumption. It's only $5. It's just this once. It's not a big deal. Now you might be thinking, Jake, come on, $5 isn't ruining anyone's life. Individually, you're right, but psychologically, small purchases are the most dangerous ones because they bypass your brain's defense system. Your brain only activates caution when a number feels painful. $5 doesn't feel painful. $10 doesn't feel painful. Even $20 often doesn't feel painful. So your brain doesn't slow down. But here's what most people don't realize. According to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average American spends over $3,000 per year on impulse purchases alone. That's not luxury spending. That's not rent or groceries. That's random, unplanned, emotionally driven spending. And that number is conservative. You've probably heard the latte factor argument before. If you just stop buying coffee, you'd be rich. And honestly, that framing is lazy. The real issue isn't the coffee. The issue is what the coffee represents. Let's do real math. Say you spend $6 per weekday on coffee and snacks. That's $30 per week, about $130 per month, roughly $1,560 per year. Now invest that at a modest 7% annual return for 30 years. That's over $150,000. But this is where it gets really interesting. The damage isn't just financial, it's psychological. Every unnecessary purchase trains your brain to prioritize short-term relief over long-term stability, and your brain learns fast. Let's talk about dopamine. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical, it's the anticipation chemical. Your brain releases dopamine before you buy something, not after. That's why scrolling, browsing, and adding things to your cart feels so good. The purchase itself, often underwhelming. In fact, studies from Stanford show that dopamine spikes drop sharply after ownership, which explains why buyer's remorse exists. You weren't buying the item, you were buying the feeling of who you thought you'd be after buying it. More productive, more confident, more organized, more successful. The item was just the excuse. Here's what most people don't realize. Unnecessary purchases are rarely about the object. They're about identity. You don't buy workout gear because you need clothes. You buy it because it represents the version of you who works out. You don't buy productivity tools because you need software. You buy them because they represent the version of you who has their life together. You're not spending money. You're buying hope. And hope is expensive. Now, let's challenge another assumption. I saved money because it was on sale. No, you didn't save money. You spent money. Retail psychology is terrifyingly effective. According to research from the Journal of Consumer Psychology, discounts increase spending by up to 35%, even when consumers don't need the product. Why? Because your brain reframes the transaction. Instead of asking, "Do I need this?" you ask, "Am I missing out?" And fear of missing out, FOMO, is one of the strongest motivators we have. Your brain treats loss avoidance as more important than logical gain, which means a fake deadline can override your financial plan. Subscription creep, the silent budget killer. Let's talk about something that quietly destroys budgets. Subscriptions, streaming, apps, software, memberships. Individually, $10 here, $15 there. But according to a study by C+R Research, the average person underestimates their monthly subscription spending by more than 100%. People think they're spending $80, they're actually spending $160. Why? Because subscriptions remove pain. No checkout, no decision moment, no emotional resistance. Your brain stops noticing the cost, but your bank account doesn't. Mental accounting. Why you spend extra money. Here's a weird thing your brain does. It categorizes money differently, even though all money is the same. This is called mental accounting. Tax refund, bonus money. Cash back, free money. Gift card, doesn't count. And because your brain labels this money as separate, you spend it more recklessly. Studies show people are twice as likely to make impulse purchases with found money than with earned income. But here's the truth. Money doesn't care where it came from. Your future doesn't either. The stress spending loop. Now, let's talk about stress, because this one hits hard. When you're stressed, your brain wants relief, fast. And spending offers instant emotional relief. That's why people shop when they're anxious, bored, or overwhelmed. But here's the cruel part. Spending to relieve stress often creates more stress later. Lower savings, more guilt, less control, which makes you stressed again, which makes you spend again. This is a loop, not a flaw. Why willpower alone never works. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Jake, I just need more self-control. No. Willpower is a terrible strategy. Willpower is finite. Psychology has proven this over and over again. People who rely on willpower burn out. People who design systems succeed. The goal isn't to fight your brain, it's to outsmart it. Actionable step number 1, add friction. Here's the simplest change you can make today. Add friction. Remove saved cards. Log out of shopping apps. Disable one-click checkout. Every extra second between impulse and purchase reduces spending by up to 40%, according to behavioral economics research. Make spending slightly inconvenient. Your brain will move on. Actionable step number 2. Create a cooling off rule. Institute a 24-hour rule for non-essential purchases. Not forever, just one day. Most impulses fade. If you still want it tomorrow, fine. But you'd be shocked how rarely tomorrow comes. Actionable step number 3. Reframe the cost. Here's what most people don't do. They ask, can I afford this? Instead ask, what is this replacing? That $200 purchase isn't just $200. It's 3 months of investing. It's half your emergency fund goal. It's future flexibility. Every dollar has an opportunity cost. Make it visible. Actionable step number 4. Spend on purpose, not emotion. Create a guilt-free spending category. Seriously, when spending is intentional, it loses its power over you. The problem isn't enjoyment. The problem is unconscious behavior. Look, unnecessary purchases aren't about being careless. They're about being human. Your brain evolved to survive, not to manage modern financial systems. Corporations spend billions studying how to separate you from your money. The least you can do is understand the game. Because once you see the psychology, you stop blaming yourself and start changing outcomes. Here's the truth. You don't need more money to build a better financial future. You need fewer leaks. Every unnecessary purchase you avoid isn't deprivation, it's progress. If this video helped you see your spending differently, hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this channel. Subscribe if you want more clear, honest breakdowns of how money actually works, not how we wish it did. And next time you're about to click buy, pause and ask yourself, am I buying an object or am I buying a feeling? Because once you can answer that honestly, you're already ahead of most people.